Big day planned for me anyway, and for the stable.ca today. It was a great day yesterday, wasn't it? Man, oh man. Don't believe me, just watch. Race fantastic. And then what a slick steer by James McDonald on Rose Run, Why Not? You could tell, you know, this is a filly that I've touted since she was really young, right? This was a filly heading into June of last year. I thought she was one of our better fillies. I don't think she's as deep as some of the other fillies, but when you give her that type of trip, you can see she can explode forward. She just, you know, I really didn't know if she could do it Mohawk, but I knew she was going to struggle at Northfield. And that's important. That's important for all of you to understand, is that almost like having a horse sharp, ready to go, and then finding the right class at the right track is like finding the right tool for the job, right? And that's exactly what went on last night. This was a filly that probably wasn't ready to race at Mohawk until last night. But when you gave her that big open stretch, you know, 2 turns instead of 4, she's just turning into a pretty decent filly. And although the last quarter wasn't strong last night, you guys saw what went on in the last quarter. James was climbing over them from the head of the lane to the wire. Rose Run, Why Not is turning into the filly we all hoped that she would be. So super impressed with her and James's drive last night. Really excited about 3-point blue chip tonight. Now my day, starting a bit late, I had to go to the bank. I forgot to do something. I'm such an idiot. I had to go to the bank. Gonna have to go back to the bank now in a little while. I want to go to the barn. I've whittled my list of horses that I kind of have to go with down to about 2 or 3. They're not bad. They're just a little stubborn, learning to do their work. See, what happens is they all have to, and you guys, we talk about this, and I forget it every year sometimes, and so do you likely, is that they go through these stages, right? These hurdles that they all have to go by, these watermarks. Once they pass them, they're fine. They never look back. But they all have that first hurdle is accepting your work, understanding your work, and looking forward or wanting to do your work. And sometimes they either don't. You know, these are between 5 and 1,000 pound animals, and sometimes if they don't want to do their work, it's very difficult to get them to do it. You have to show them that it's not that bad after all, and that it's actually fun. What I try to do with those particular horses is get them out when the most people are on the track, right around now in the morning, where you have 6 or 7 people on the track at all times. They can get out and jog along beside the other horses, and they end up getting pretty interested in it. Another issue would be their steering. You know, we've worked with the dentist to get all their wolf teeth taken out, their teeth cleaned up, because it can be a little sore sometimes having that bit in there. So getting them to like their work and then being able to steer them. So we have 2 or 3 left. That's about it. And none of them are being rude. None of them are being ignorant. They're all doing their work fairly well, and most all of them can go by themselves now with other people. I usually go with them by themselves for a little bit, just to make sure everything's all right, and then we'll, I guess they graduate into the general population of the riders, where most of our guys, whether it be Greg or Chris or anybody, really can go with them. And that's where we're at right now with the babies. Myself today, I have to run around, I have to go to the feed store, I have to go with these horses, then I have to come back up now and send money for the colt that we bought out of the Ontario sale, the Seal Star Online sale. Now, I spoke to the breeders yesterday that have the horse right now, and as I was talking to them the other day, remember in my video I said that their veterinarian said she could castrate the horse on site. There was no need to bring the horse off site. Challenge accepted. I called her last night. I said, ma'am, would you mind castrating that colt for us and keeping him at your farm? Now, they have to leave for Harrisburg. They have a consignment in Harrisburg. Jim and Kim, I believe, Laird, they have a consignment in Harrisburg, and I want to plan on dropping by that consignment, but I can't interfere with the rest of their fall caring for this colt. So I had told them, geez, if you could get him gelded really quick, he'd be ready to come right back. Come right back to the farm before you go to Harrisburg. But that's a lot to ask. I mean, virtually what I'm saying is, hey, I bought your horse. Can you castrate him and leave him at your farm until, you know, I'm ready to pick him up? It's a lot to ask. So I'm hoping that they do, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world. So nothing but a dreamer, if everything goes right, will be castrated on site, not at the university, on site soon. hope. And then we'll go from there. Now, as I said, I have Duke Dio tonight. Now I have the 3 kids. So Addie went to daycare. The kids went off to school. Nellie and Danielle, who were caring for them when Amy and I were in Lexington. I don't know if you were worried about where our kids were when we were in Lexington. They weren't in a kennel, as I joked about. They actually did have people that were taking care of them. So Nellie and Danielle are going to take care of the kids until I get back. The early race tonight, 5 o'clock race. I'll be back by 7:30 at the latest. At 7:30 at the latest at the house. Put the kids away and maybe get some late supper. What else do we got? Sunday, I have to go to Northfield Park. Now, I'll give you a little update. High gear, no fear. It's been a rough start. Not a rough start. He's showing some speed. He's showing what we expect him. Not what we expect him to do, but glimmers of it. And he's there. But he is a little bit sick this week. We had schooled him. There was a little bit of mucus and a couple of droplets of blood in his throat. I had the veterinarian. I asked him to, they're going to jog him today and tomorrow, scope him on Saturday afternoon, see how he looks. We've taken his blood. But there's at least a decent chance, probably at best a coin flip, that he'll be scratched on Sunday evening. Not the end of the world. Listen, this horse is going to be a good horse for us all winter. I'm not really that concerned about Sunday. You know, that class will be there next week. And I know we all want to get him going and win 5 in a row, but that's just not how it works sometimes. You know, we have to get the horses set up. You guys have been through this, right? You persevered through Yes. You know, the long toils that we went through to get Yes back to being Yes, and I think he's got a great shot in the Open. I'm going to go over Sunday morning. I'd love to take the kids, but I can't. They just, and I don't blame them. So we've been waiting. The border technically isn't open yet anyway, but they're opening the border on November the 8th, and in coordination with that, that email, I guess, being sent out by the government, the school board sent out one also saying if your kids are traveling outside of the country, they have to quarantine. They can't go back to school for 2 weeks when they get home. My wife's like, that's not right. And I said, it's right. I would do the same thing. You know, especially in the climate we're in, where everybody's so worried and scared. Yeah, I'm not that shocked. So, I can't take the kids with me Sunday. Again, Nellie and Danielle, I haven't told them yet. They're going to be on deck. They're going to be on deck for Sunday. Again, if I leave Northfield Park at 8 o'clock, I'm home at 12:15, 12:30. I actually got a COVID test yesterday so that I can bring my car home. I think I'm going to leave the truck over there because, again, I have to go back over Tuesday and Wednesday. It's going to be sporadic times for it. It's busy for me right now. I was on pins and needles yesterday watching Perfect Record, who, by the way, raced fantastic. Hunter Myers, once in a while, will watch our videos. Did a absolutely fantastic job with that horse. Yes, he didn't get money, but we needed a clean line and we needed him to start looking better and moving forward. I was very pleased, 1, with the way he raced, and 2, with the way he drove him yesterday. Sitting on a win, from what I could see yesterday, sitting on a win in that class next week. But as we get closer to Harrisburg, I do want to make sure some of these horses race to their full potential. So I am going to bounce over to Northfield Park and the Meadows next Tuesday, Wednesday. You might see that for a little bit until we really get, everything structured. I don't want to be running back and forth all the time. I don't mind doing it for a little bit, and I certainly don't mind doing it to help out Lauren if she needs help in the burn, getting things situated and squared away. But for right now, I'm very happy with the way things are going. Aaron drove the horse, has been driving the horses great. Really, everybody has been driving the horses great on both sides of the border. So less of a need for me to go anywhere. Less stress is great. This has been a very, very, I guess, transformational year. I guess that's the word. Big word. Transformational. Pretty sure it's a word. In the sense that, there is and will be less stress on me financially heading into the Christmas season. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for that. You are the reason for that. You know, I just over a beer someday, if you want to sit down and I'll tell you exactly about how we scrambled to make everything work, to make everything on the stage look like a good play for 5 years. And we worked very hard at it. There's some key players behind the scenes that have helped me out immensely. You know who you are. It's starting to sound like an acceptance speech. But at the same time, a big year for us in the sense that we now have 2 fully functioning and operating stables which feed off one another, which are key component. The ability to send Roser and Why Not back here, race her at Mohawk, or send a horse over there, that's big, that's key. And it just goes to show, as I said when I started this video, how important it is to be able to race your horses in the proper place. Again, you know, Jason McGinnis's training average is close to probably 335, 340 now. We've had the best year any of us have ever had at Mohawk. Had a tremendous year at Mohawk. Really, what we've been able to do has been on display because of our ability to race our horses where they belong. Now, I got a couple of messages from people saying, you know, in regards to Don't Believe Me, Just Watch. This has always been a very polarizing group. And they're like, well, we can't race him in there again. He is going to race in there again. This is a great class for Don't Believe Me, Just Watch. He can't do in the classes above there. He can't do in the straight condition, which makes this the only class for him, which is good and it's bad. It's great in the sense that he can do. They keep raising the money limit, the cap on it, so he'll keep fitting in there for a while, but eventually that cap will probably come down if more horses flood in for that particular class. And he may not get in. Then he will have to race over his head. Now, that's the bad side of it. I guess going back to the good side of it with Don't Believe Me, Just Watch, is that anybody analytically looking at the claiming of Don't Believe Me, Just Watch, you have 5 weeks left before there's no more allowance for you. 5. No, that's not true. We have all of November. I'm actually losing count now. 9 weeks. 9 weeks until there's no more allowances for Don't Believe Me, Just Watch. You may say to yourself, well, they could just claim them and then just put them back in there. Okay, so they're going to give us $1 for $1 and race him. Keep in mind, this horse wasn't even the favorite last night. Race him in a class that he won by a nose ahead of 2 other horses, and he wasn't the favorite. This is the perfect situation to be in. We had this situation a couple of 3 years ago with a trot filly. They ended up claiming her, to be honest, but they claimed her to race and then be a broodmare after. So good for them. But that class in particular, that condition claimer, when you have a horse that doesn't have a whole lot of options outside of that class, it's not a really interesting proposition for most trainers. Somebody may jump in and grab him, but at some point somebody will for sure. But for now, Don't Believe Me, Just Watch needs to be racing where he's racing. Roser and Why Not fits that class again. And keep in mind, if we happen to get our girl So-and-So squared away, she can come over and race in that class too. No problem whatsoever. So continuing to have horses that fit these, now I believe you guys are seeing what we're trying to do. As the horses get up 50, 60, 70, and your ability to race starts to narrow, right? Those paths start to dissolve and disappear. It's important to have horses coming behind those horses where we can say, okay, you know, Don't Believe Me, Just Watch, or Tanzanite Tricks, or Tipsy and Dixie. We will part ways with those horses and let other people race them while we, I should have taken that, while we find horses to come behind them, right? As Roser and Why Not makes that money and gets up into the next class, hopefully she can do in that class. Again, having So-and-So and horses like So-and-So coming behind her, it's helpful for us. That's just good management. So that's what we've been trying to do. That's what we continue to try and do. And I appreciate your patience and understanding. Hopefully everybody is learning, as we are, along the way, what works, what doesn't work, and tailoring our stable to fit that. And I truly appreciate, as I said, your patience and understanding of what we're trying to do. So, with that said, another long-winded morning video. This is Friday morning. It's a little chilly here in Ontario. The sun's trying to peek out, but overall, it is a beautiful day. Should be good tonight. We get Duke Dio. We got another horse racing somewhere in New Jersey. Everybody be watching. So good luck to Amy, Jason, James, everybody associated with our boy 3-point Blue Chip. Can't wait to see him race tonight. And as I said to everybody, you know, win, lose, or draw, this is a talented horse. I spoke to Tom Grossman of Blue Chip Farms the other day about him. And I said, Tom, you're asking him to race against, we're asking him to race against horses that have trotted in 52. These are established rookie colts. This is his first start into stake competition, and it is the biggest race of his career, for the most part. This is the Breeders' Crown. So it's a lot to ask of him. I know he'll race good, and if he doesn't make the final of the Breeders' Crown, hopefully he still has a chance to race in the Valley Victory, and if he doesn't, at the very worst, we have an incredibly talented looking colt heading into his sophomore season. So, all things coming up roses for the 3 Point Blue Chip group. I'm super pumped about tonight. Super pumped about the year, the week we've had. Still off a high of the Rose Run Why Not last night. He raced so fantastic and James drove her so great. Just very happy for everybody. Things are moving well. Take care.